Hey guys, good morning. Alfredo here for another episode of our series Uncut English. How are you? Okay, so the idea I want to share with you today is the following. So this channel is dedicated to those people, those students, people who follow us here are interested in keeping in touch with the language and in doing so improving their fluency, learning more English, learning more vocabulary, learning more expressions, and learning different ways through which they can improve their English, right? So that's the whole idea. But I was thinking about an idea that I wanted to share with you, and a tip that actually I myself got from a film a long time ago. The name of the film is The Sixth Sense. It's about a kid, a little boy, who can. It's a thriller, it's a suspense story. But it's a very intelligent film, and I'm going to try to be very careful not to give any spoilers, because even though this film is kind of old, I'm sure it's more than 15 years old, at least 15 years old. So anyway, this film is about a boy, and what's special about this boy is that he can talk to dead people. In fact, if you Google this, if you Google the name, the title of the film, Sixth Sense, you're going to see a trailer. And this film became very famous, and it's a classic because there are lots of extracts from the video, and most of them show this little boy saying, "I can see dead people. I can talk to dead people." So anyway, the story is about that, but that's not what this video is about. In this film, this kid, Cole, his name I think is Cole, has a relationship with a psychiatrist. I'm not sure if this guy was a psychiatrist or just a psychologist, but anyway, so this guy is I'm gonna say he's a psychologist. So his name is Malcolm, the psychologist, and Cole, and they have they develop a kind of friendship, and Cole is a very shy little boy, and he's got problems at school with bullying and things like that. But the main topic is he can see dead people. And this doctor, this psychologist, he tries to help him because he's a child psychologist. In real life, in his profession, he's a child psychologist. And then we don't know exactly why, but they get involved, and this doctor starts trying to help him. And then one day they have a conversation. And this doctor, Malcolm, he comes up with an idea. Well, in fact, it's a technique that he wants to try with his little friend, with Cole. And it's called Associative Writing. And basically, based on what he explains in the film, it's called, actually I'm not sure now if it's associative or associating writing. But basically, what you have to do is this. You get a piece of paper and you get a pencil, and you put that pencil down to the piece of paper and you start writing. But the interesting thing about this technique is that it's not something that you plan, right? Okay, like I'm going to write a letter to someone, or I'm going to write an essay about something, or I'm going to write an article. No. It's nothing like that. You just grab a piece of paper and you grab a pencil and then you start writing. And then in the film, this guy explains that the principle behind it is that when you start writing, you just start writing whatever is on your mind. So, for example, if I were to start writing, if I were to start doing an exercise like that, I would get a piece of paper, would get a pencil, and I myself would probably start like this. Okay, so here am I. Okay, so actually it's not a question. So here I am, Alfredo, trying to practice with this technique called associative writing. And so somebody told me to get a piece of paper and a pencil and start writing, and I'm doing this. And right now, I don't know exactly what I should write about, but they told me that I shouldn't stop writing, so that's why I'm writing here that I shouldn't stop writing. Okay, so and I'm going to continue writing, and I don't know why I'm doing this, because nothing interesting is popping up in my mind, but it's okay. I believe I want to try this experiment, so I'm going to keep writing. And I think that now I'm going to writing about, and now I think I'm going to write about, I don't know, I'm going to write about my mom, because the last time I spoke to her, I noticed that she was a little bit depressed. And my mom is getting old, and I think that it's a common thing to happen, you know, as people get old, they become more lonely, they become more sensitive, and I think that's why she is a little bit depressed now. And I've been thinking about ways by which I could help her, but honestly I feel kind of lost, and I don't know exactly what I could do to help my mother, but I wish I had, you know, an idea. Anyway, and that's it. So this is called associative writing. And then this doctor explains that in the beginning you start writing about nothing. You don't have a clear subject in your mind. But if you do this long enough, ideas that you didn't even know were in your mind, they start surfacing. And that's the principle behind this exercise. Okay. And I've never seen anybody applying this principle to language learning. But because I teach English, I had this idea the other day, and I thought, well, you know what? I should perhaps suggest this to my students, that they could do this, you know, especially students who are already at, you know, at least at the pre-intermediate level. They have a considerable vocabulary that allows them to write in English. And I think that's a great exercise, you know, it's great practice, because it forces you, you know, to bring out now the words that you already know that are there. I mean, the words in English that are there, they are in the back of your mind, but you never think of them, you never remember them, because you don't practice with them. You know, they're there. For example, in your last lesson, you were exposed to a number of words, but until you start using them, you know, they're just there, stored, and there's a good chance that the longer they stay there without you accessing them, that the link mechanism, you know, I'm going to call this the retrieving mechanism, you know, in other words, your ability to go there and retrieve that information that is stored. I think the longer you wait to start using those new words that you've just learned, the harder it gets. I really believe that. So then I thought about this film and about this idea, and I decided to make this video. And I think it works, you know. I think it makes a lot of sense. I personally, I'm a big fan of this idea. But anyway, so when I was searching on YouTube for videos about this technique, about associative writing, because, as I said, this is something that native speakers do. I'm not sure if this idea was born in America, you know, if a psychologist there came up with this idea and then it kind of disseminated. I'm not sure if that's what happened. I don't know where it comes from, but I know that if you Google this, you'll find lots of articles and films about that in English. But I've never seen it being used to help people practice with a new language that they're learning. But I do believe that this principle, that people who write well are more likely to speak well. Because you see, the thing is, what's the difference between speaking and writing? Well, it's a very basic one in my opinion. When you are writing, you have time to stop, think, reorganize your thoughts. If you read a sentence that you've just written and if it doesn't sound good to you, you rewrite, you rearrange elements, and you do this until you're satisfied with the final product. When you're speaking, you can't do that. You don't have the time to do that. You simply don't. Because somebody asks you a question, and nobody's gonna hang around waiting for you to come up with the perfect answer. They expect you to answer on the spot. So somebody asks you a question, they want an answer. And then you try to do the best you can and deliver as fast as possible. But then, in the long run, when you think about it, oftentimes you realize, oh my God, it's like I don't speak so well. For me, it's so difficult. And if I have to write, I can organize my thoughts a little bit better. And basically that's it. When you're writing, you have time to think. When you're speaking, you don't have time to think. But doesn't that make sense? I mean, doesn't it sound a little bit logic that if you write on a regular basis, if you write as often as you possibly can, isn't there a chance that your thought process is going to speed up? Isn't it true? Isn't it possible that you're going to start thinking faster? Imagine this: the more you write, the more you practice with this, with coming up with ideas and organizing them. And I think that writing fast and writing frequently can have a direct impact on your fluency. I saw a video with Michelle Obama, and she says something like that. She says that she describes Obama as a voracious reader. He reads a lot. And that's another thing, because think about this. If you read a lot, that means that you're constantly exposed to the language. And you're not going to read stupid books. You're going to read interesting books, well-written stories, and so on. So this exposition to the language also can have a very significant impact on your speaking and on your writing. So you see, these three things, they go together. And then that's why I thought of sharing this idea with you. It's something that you could do. And then there's one last thought, okay, that today crossed my mind. Because in the process of searching or of looking up these topics on YouTube, for example, and on Google, I came across another video, another topic, which is called verbal fluency. And then this guy who talks about the subject, he says something like this: oh, have you ever talked to somebody who seems to have such a great command of the language, and you start a conversation with them, and it seems that they can link thoughts and ideas so fast without pausing, without going, well, those constant breaks, which I myself, I suffer from that. Sometimes I want to record a video and I feel that some days I do that more than others. Anyway, so there is this thing called verbal fluency. And that made me think about something. Suppose I'm learning another language. Suppose I'm learning Spanish. And so what's my goal? My goal is to become fluent in Spanish. But what if I'm not fluent in Portuguese? So what if I don't have verbal fluency in Portuguese? So what are the chances that in Spanish I'm not going to be very fluent? So you see, that's my question for today. I would like you to think about that. because I think it's very important for us to have this in mind, that perhaps if we are having trouble acquiring fluency in another language, we should, it's not that I'm saying that you cannot be fluent in another language if you're not fluent in your own language, because I think it is possible. But I think it's very likely that you're going to have trouble acquiring fluency in the new language as well. So perhaps what I'm saying is this: once you start this process, perhaps an interesting exercise is for you to start thinking about your fluency in your own language as well, and taking actions towards improving your fluency also in your mother tongue. Think about that. So this is Uncut English. My name is Alfredo. I'll see you again in our next episode. Bye for now.